Despite the smiles, apparently the fall guy got quite cross about being hijacked, but later on, when he got his trousers back, he laughed it off along with the studio audience. When you're sliding around in a plastic bath at 50 miles an hour, you can't stand up to yell at the driver, although that's exactly what another victim did try to do, possibly with results that made him look as if he'd been advertising French floor tiles. In conclusion, lest you were to feel at the end of this program that no stranger could be trusted and all humanoid relationships are between people in crisis, we leave you with a love that lasted 40 years. Yes, 4 decades of endurance already joined Chester Webber and his wife Anna at their ruby wedding in 1953. It took place on the same primetime talent show that discovered Pat Boone. Pat who, you may ask? Because fame fades. But love lives, and the singing passion of Anna and Chester Webber will be always in our ears, like wax.
Did you ever get that feeling in the morning? You want to be the stars so bright above, and you want to love somebody, but there's nobody there to love. Did you ever get that longing? How did you know? That wonderful longing you can never resist. Did you ever get that feeling in the moonlight? That feeling that says you want to be kissed. Here and I mean it. Be kissed. So shine on this moon. For I ain't had no love since January, February. You know your life. So time ain't no time to stay. Outdoors and spoons. So shine on how there's moon for me and my gal.
This is ITV with a new wartime spy serial, Wish Me Luck. 2 women who want to train as secret agents.
She isn't in the War Office at all. She's with this hush-hush outfit. She didn't say much, mind, but I wouldn't mind betting they're sending blokes over to France.
Code name, Gideon.
Edward Woodward is the British intelligence officer hunting Russian agent Ian Charlson. And Gerald Seymour's highly charged thriller, The Contract.
We have a one-off opportunity to be with the designer of the next generation of Soviet nuclear missiles.
The Contract starts Sunday at 9 on ITV.
What does ELS stand for? Earth's largest sale. It's ELS's biggest sale yet. Up to 50% off furniture and carpets. We guarantee you can't buy it cheaper. And in this year's sale, there's interest-free credit. Plus a £10 voucher with every £100 you spend. Plus immediate delivery on beds. Plus free fitting on all carpets. ELS, Earth's largest sale.
If you're lucky enough to receive an envelope like this from Reader's Digest, you could win £130,000. So return your prize draw numbers right away.
Lou Tennent's the name. I was between cases, so I stopped off at the Sink Inn. The place was swimming over. I asked the barman for a Tennent's Pilsner. The cool taste was music inside me. So I asked for another. Anne introduced me to her sister, Candy Floss. Funny, I felt kind of hungry. She told me she had a problem. I had a choice. My Tennent's Pilsner or Candy's case. It was close, but not that close. Tennent's Pilsner. It's good, but not that good.
Put aside all preconceived ideas about holidays in Britain. CenterParcs is here. CenterParcs is a completely new holiday experience built around an amazing subtropical swimming paradise. A family holiday where you choose how to spend your time and we make it all possible. The setting is beautiful English woodland and it's open 365 days of the year. Ring for the brochure. CenterParcs, a British holiday the weather can't spoil.
One, two, move those feet, we're nearly there. 10 more miles and we don't care. Feeling great and that's no lie. I'm so hungry I could die. Let's get back to my mate. Who's mate? Your mate. My mate. Marmite. Marmite. What's up? What's up? Feed me. Feed me. Good stuff. Good stuff. My mate. Marmite.
You'll find masses of half-price books now at the W.H. Smith, Sook Bale.
Cut. Half-price book sale, take 2.
Or 3.
Fit and active dogs need the right kind of food. The real marrowbone in succulent, meaty Pal helps give your dog the vitality he needs. Pal with marrowbone for lifelong activity.
20 years ago, thousands of Britons headed down under. See how they fared at 10:15. Now it's news time.
The news from ITN.
Reagan and Gorbachev pledge a new arms treaty. 4 children die with their father in house fire. The government gags the Observer over new spy book. And at White Hart Lane, a furious physio gets the red card. Good evening. Both President Reagan and the Soviet leader, Mr. Gorbachev, say they have hopes of signing a fresh arms treaty on long-range nuclear weapons within the next 6 months. Their New Year messages were exchanged in special TV broadcasts screened tonight in America and the Soviet Union.
The Kremlin twinkled with holiday lights. There was festive music as Mr. Gorbachev spoke directly to the American people.
Season's greetings and best wishes from all Soviet people.
He said the new arms treaty was a good omen for 1988, and he was anxious to move further down the road towards peace.
With a view to signing a treaty to that effect even in the first half of this year.
But only one of the 4 major networks here carried the message, others staying with football games and holiday parades. The White House telling the Russians, we can't force a commercial network to run anything.
I'm speaking to
By contrast, Mr. Reagan could be seen on every TV set in the Soviet Union today. He wished the Russian people well, but also reaffirmed his commitment to Star Wars.
For the sake of a safer peace, I am committed to pursuing the possibility that technology offers.
There were also references to Afghanistan and human rights problems mixed in with the good wishes.
Thank you, and God bless you.
In the end, Mr. Reagan, perhaps with an eye to critics at home, came over as a deal more cautious. Mr. Gorbachev, a lot more optimistic. Ken Rees, ITN, Washington.
Fire investigators are trying to find what caused a blaze that killed a father and 4 of his children at their South Wales home. The children's mother escaped unhurt after trying in vain to rescue them. Just 1 child survived and is critically ill in hospital. The father was Frederick Watkins, who died with Shannon and Danielle, seen here, and Haley and baby Sean.
The fire began in the downstairs front room of the Watkins house just before 8 o'clock this morning. The family was still asleep, except for Mrs. Yvonne Watkins, who ran screaming to her neighbours for help as the fire caught hold.
We opened the door to try and get in because of the children, but when we opened the front door, we shut it back up straight away because it was all flames and smoke and everything, so there's no way we could have gone in there. You know, we tried to get in there.
Firemen arrived quickly at the scene, but they were too late to save the 4 children, who died like their father in their beds upstairs. But one little girl, 5-year-old Camille, was saved. She and her mother, suffering from shock, were taken to the Prince Charles Hospital, where Camille is very poorly but stable in intensive care. Police and firemen investigating the blaze have been shocked by the scale of the tragedy.
The community themselves, they are also deeply distressed and shocked, and many of the residents up there were very, very courageous in the manner in which they tried to assist in saving life.
Forensic teams have been searching the destroyed house to find out how the fire began. Glenn O'Glaser, ITN, Merthyr Tydfil.
The government has gained a temporary injunction against the Observer newspaper, stopping it publishing extracts from the memoirs of former MI6 agent Anthony Cavendish. It's to seek a similar injunction tomorrow against the Sunday Times, which printed some details last week. Both papers have refused to give assurances they won't publish more from Mr. Cavendish's book Inside Intelligence. Tonight, the Observer's editor reacted angrily to the government's action.
I think it's outrageous that they rush around in a frenzy and drag out a judge in Winchester to prevent us publishing something which we may not publish anyway. They certainly had no evidence whatsoever that we intended to publish anything. When they asked me for an undertaking yesterday, whether I'd publish or not, I said I wouldn't give such an undertaking as a matter of principle. I really don't see why I should tell the government on Friday what I'm planning to publish in the Observer on Sunday. It's really none of their business. We don't know whether we're planning to publish anything on Cavendish. We haven't decided. Just because you get material from a spy or former spy, even if we have such material, and I'm not saying, you don't necessarily publish it. You only publish it if you judge that it might be in the public interest.
The man in charge of the Atomic Energy Authority at the time of the 1957 Windscale reactor fire says the then Prime Minister, Mr. Harold Macmillan, made a political decision to order a cover-up. Mr. Macmillan's suppression of the inquiry into Britain's worst nuclear accident is revealed in today's publication of 30-year-old Cabinet papers. Lord Plowden, then Atomic Energy Chairman, says Mr. Macmillan didn't want to alarm the Americans because Britain counted on American nuclear cooperation. Windscale is the old name for the Sellafield plant in Cumbria.
When Windscale caught fire 30 years ago, the situation, the experts later discovered, was almost out of control. There were no operating manuals, few proper instruments, no lift, only stairs to visual inspection points 70 feet above ground. And there wasn't even agreement about what actually constituted contaminated milk. 30 years on, inspection of the still sealed and heavily contaminated number 1 pile is by remotely controlled camera. The first pictures of the molten fuel canisters still inside it were released last autumn. Sir William Penny's Committee of Inquiry discovered the shortcomings at Windscale within 3 weeks, but his original report, this is the opening page, has never been seen in public until now. Over several paragraphs, Sir William talked of deficiencies and inadequacies of organisation at Windscale, and what he called serious major technical defects. Yet after the Prime Minister, Harold Macmillan, had read the report, a Cabinet minute, secret until now, records that he had come to the conclusion that it would not be in the public interest to publish it. Instead, a white paper was issued, in which Sir William Penny's original findings about defects and poor management are reduced to 2 sentences of officialese about inadequacies of instrumentation, faults of judgment, and weakness of organisation. In 1957, Windscale, making plutonium for nuclear bombs, was a highly sensitive defence installation. But this letter from the Ministry of Defence reveals they didn't object to the original report being published, nor at first did Sir Edwin, now Lord Plowden, at the Atomic Energy Authority. But Harold Macmillan told them full disclosure would harm the exchange of nuclear information with America.
It was a political judgment, and after all, who was I to argue with the Prime Minister on a political judgment?
So with Britain firmly committed by Macmillan to more nuclear power stations, the Queen had opened the first the previous year, and with Britain having tested its first H-bomb 5 months earlier, the Prime Minister decided the less said about the Windscale accident, the better. Michael Brunson, ITN, at the Public Record Office.
At Sellafield today, mist shrouds pile number 1, sealed like a tomb since the fire. It's still only possible to enter the pile wearing protective clothing, and even then not for very long. There's still nuclear fuel inside. The accident may have caused up to 33 deaths. Livestock was contaminated in a wide area around the plant, and at one stage the government contemplated evacuating local people. Anti-nuclear campaigners say the full truth has still not been told.
Obviously there was a big cover-up in 1957 because of the implications for the future of the nuclear industry at the time. I wonder how many other communities in Britain would have so willingly accepted nuclear power had the truth about the Windscale fire come out. I doubt if they would have, and that's obviously the reason why the cover-up took place.
And do you think they're still covering up?
Of course they are. The nuclear industry and openness and Dee, are mutually exclusive, I'm afraid. You can never have full openness about an industry with such military implications and such long-term health effects.
Now, with news of soccer's big kick-off to 1988, here's Giles Smith.
It was the happiest of starts to the new year for Liverpool. They crushed Coventry 4-0 and then found that none of their nearest rivals had won. They're now a massive 13 points clear of second place Nottingham Forest. Peter Beardsley got 2 as Liverpool took revenge on the last team to beat them in the league. That was back in May last year. Paul Gascoigne got the first as Brian Clough's team suffered a major blow to their hopes of catching Liverpool. Alan Smith's equaliser rescued Arsenal, who were lucky to escape with a point, but their real hero was goalkeeper John Lukic, who saved a penalty just before the end. At Hillsborough, Mike Proctor's goal completed a day of upsets. That was Wednesday's first victory over Everton for 22 years. Spurs and Watford, 2 teams better at making headlines off the field than winning matches on it, met today in London, both hoping to change their ways in 1988. Mike Gatting was the guest at White Hart Lane, letting off some non-Pakistani fireworks to liven up the Spurs crowd on a wet and windy New Year's morning. They grabbed them as if they were Shakur Rana's garters, but they'd really come to see if new signing Terry Fenwick could help Spurs back to some former glory against Watford. In miserable conditions, it was England winger Chris Waddle who looked the pick of the bunch, setting up this chance, among others, for Paul Moran, denied by the post. But it wasn't until well into the second half that Waddle persuaded his colleagues to capitalise on his good work when Rees dropped it and Clive Allen scored the easiest of goals. 2 minutes later, Fenwick and the rest of the Spurs defence goofed a corner and an astonished Mark Martin levelled it up. Terry Venables couldn't face yet another match being thrown away, and that spurred man of the match Waddle to set up 19-year-old Moran for his first league goal and Spurs winner. It was all too much for Watford physio Derek French, who got himself a unique sending off for allegedly swearing at the referee. He clearly didn't appreciate this footballing first. That leaves Watford still in search of an owner, firmly on the bottom of the table. A good bet for a replacement from the second division might be Leeds, who recorded their 6th win on the trot in the big Yorkshire derby against Bradford. 36,000, the biggest crowd at Elland Road for 7 years, saw the in-form Leeds go ahead when Glyn Snowdon crossed for Gary Williams to head home after 12 minutes. Bradford, second in the table this morning, never gave up, but Billy Bremner's side clinched it 10 minutes from time when Bobby Davison set up Snowdon for a volley to stun the Bradford end.
Police say the Christmas crackdown on drink drivers was a success. Accidents were down 18% and positive breath tests were down by 7%. Last night, revellers around the world welcomed in the new year.
Mild weather encouraged at least 100,000 people to make the time-honoured trip to Trafalgar Square. There wasn't all that much elbow room, but the night was largely trouble-free, and for the first time, mounted police were on hand to make sure things stayed that way. The Brazilians, who know how to throw a party, lit up their skies, and some of them decided to race their way into 1988. On the Champs-Élysées in Paris, the New Year revellers stopped the traffic, and the police took their public duties very seriously indeed. And this morning, the bravest Roman of them all plunged into the River Tiber to prove it really was the start of a new leap year.
That's all from ITN. Good evening and Happy New Year.
Looking at the weather, there will be further periods of rain, but also some breaks in the cloud tonight. Temperatures will fall to 6 degrees centigrade, 43 Fahrenheit. And the night will remain frost-free but windy, with fresh to strong winds from the west-southwest. Although there'll be some rain at first, tomorrow will be a windy day with blustery showers, but also some sunshine. Most of the showers will be in Pennine districts, with the best of the sunshine to the east of the hills. It'll be cooler than today, with temperatures reaching 8 degrees centigrade, 46 Fahrenheit. And that's the forecast.
This is ITV with new drama from Robert Powell.
Why have you tied me up?
The better to restrain him.
And Edward Woodward.
Can't risk the KGB picking him up before we do, can we?
ITV goes into action with London's firemen and women. From the back streets of Glasgow, Bookie.
And you want to come out of this lousy rat bag of a season with
grand in your pocket.
And some real hard cases.
You don't think I'd hurt my own kids, do you?
East End gangsters.
I know someone could die in this mess.
And secret agents in training.
Please, Colonel. I'd give anything to go back.
A small world comes to the small screen.
Didn't Burge Percy or was blackmail?
If young Goodman wants to see his pregnant secretary again, I think he ought to be prepared to say what he knows.
Gerald Seymour's The Contract starts Sunday at 9 on ITV.
Mr. Taylor, will you tell us about your sore throat?
Too sore.
Pardon?
It's too sore.
Then you need something that works very fast. Chloroseptic. It's new from Vicks, and so fast it'll start to work before we finish this commercial.
A spray? No chance.
The spray gets to work right where it hurts, right away, because Chloroseptic contains a really fast-acting painkiller. But can it start to work before this commercial ends?
I don't believe.
Hello, Smiler. You're looking better. Oh, nice grapes.
What I want's a smoke. Give me a cigar like last time, eh?
Yes, of course. But I don't smoke those usual mild cigars anymore. I've changed to these Castella Classic, which are that bit wider. Open wide. Pity. Because that extra width means even greater mild, smooth smoking enjoyment for about the same price. You'd love them if you weren't so set in your ways.
Castella Classic.
Set in your ways.
The choice is wider.
A brand new recording of My Fair Lady, featuring Kiri Te Kanawa, Jeremy Irons and Warren Mitchell.
Hooray, hooray, it's your whole season's holiday. It's a choice of fun for everyone on a whole season's holiday. From quiet chalet to waterways, whole season's holidays. Britain's fun for you and Europe too. Hooray, hooray, hooray. Hooray, hooray, it's your whole season's holiday. There's a choice for you and your kids too. Hooray, hooray, hooray. It's your whole season's holiday. Hooray.
For boating holidays in Britain or France, holiday homes in Britain or France, ring 01200 0200 for the brochure of your choice.
It's your whole season's holiday.
From the moment you're born, electricity is working for you in its own unique way, shaping your life and the world around you, powering the latest advances in technology and science, along with countless ways of making life easier and more enjoyable. Everything from big screen entertainment and making a home to small screen reassurance and the making of memories. All through your life, electricity, energy for life.
This Sunday, the Mail on Sunday gazes at your stars for the coming year. We examine your fortunes, your ambitions, and your love life. Though whether the stars agree with us is a different matter. Your Stars for 88 by Patrick Walker. A separate colour guide this week in the Mail on Sunday.
Rolf Harris here to tell you all about the great EYG winter sale. Simply dial the operator and ask for free phone 5699.
Earth's largest sale is now on at our new Barnsley store and is full of special opening offers. Plus, there's interest-free credit on most suites. Plus, a £10 voucher with every £100 you spend. Plus, immediate delivery on beds. Plus, free fitting on all carpets. ELS, Earth's largest sale.
This is the first day of the Australian bicentenary, and to commemorate the event, our next programme relates the story of the 1.5 million Brits who went to Australia on the British and Australian package scheme. They paid £10 and became known as the 10 Quid Tourists.
In 1947, Britain and Australia signed an agreement that changed millions of lives. Australia needed massive British immigration. Both governments agreed an assisted passage scheme. which guaranteed almost free travel. Just £10 for a one-way ticket to Australia. When the scheme ended in 1973, 1.5 million Britons had taken up the offer. This film tells the story of those who stayed in Australia and the few who came home. "90,000 people took advantage of a £10 ticket to Australia in 1965. Among them were 3 families, David and Josie Hall, a geologist from Humberside, and their 1-year-old son Carl. Joe Aspinall, a bus conductor, his wife Mary, and their 5 children from Lee in Lancashire. And Pat and Stephen Throssell, a railway shunter from Hull, with their 2 children. As the 3 families prepared to leave, we filmed them talking about their hopes and their fears about life down under.
Do you want any help, Joe? Can I come and give you a hand?
No, it's all right.
All of them felt that mid-60s Britain held no future for them.
No, turn which way? This one.
The North, they said, was in decline. Employment prospects were poor. Wages were low. Australia, they hoped, offered them better jobs and a secure future. Stephen Throssell, a wagon shunter, feared cutbacks on the railways.
I mean, I've just left a job where there's redundancy coming in. And I think that if I hadn't decided to go to Australia, I would have been made redundant and I'd have been back on the door with the rest of them, looking for a job. And we've picked to go abroad, see if we can find a better life out there.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Eh? Who wouldn't want to work in a situation like this, eh? Better than shunting trains in Hull. Eh? No comparison. Beautiful place to work. Good, thank you.
23 years later, Stephen Throssell is a highly paid tugman in Fremantle Harbour. And David Hall, despite a university degree and a good job, also felt his prospects were better in Australia.
There just aren't the incentives or the opportunities in this country. With this job I've been offered abroad, well, in Australia, my starting salary with a past degree will be £1,650 Australian. Well, it's almost double what you can be offered in this country.
You know, we've been in Australia all our formative years, you know, working, building a career, building a family, which we'd never had to, all we'd done in England was, you know, grow up within a family and study and get a qualification. It was here that all that came to fruition. We've had the opportunity to do it.
Today, David Hall is in charge of mineral prospecting in an area bigger than Wales.
Yeah, I'm the regional exploration manager in Tasmania. It's my ultimate decision as to where that hole goes and why it goes there.
Our third family, Joe and Mary Aspinall, were both 39 years old when they decided to emigrate with their 5 children.
Joseph, Martha, Sandra.
Joe worked long hours as a bus conductor. He too saw no future in Britain. Mary Aspinall felt that Australia would fulfill their dreams.
I don't know anything about Australia, only what I've read. And in my imagination, I mean, there's quite a few people, neighbours and friends and that ask me, have you any idea what it's like? And I said, well, in my imagination, I picture it like a cowboy picture. We've got our own house, which I don't think we'd ever own in England. We've got a car. We've got money in the bank. I could never say that in England because I never had a bank book in England.
As some left Britain, hope turned to disappointment. Conditions varied from ship to ship. Many were overcrowded, with poor food and cramped accommodation. For the more fortunate, it was the holiday of a lifetime.
It was something out of this world. I mean, you imagine years of slogging. Kids never sort of had a decent holiday except a caravan holiday or maybe Southend, you know. Years ago, I had a dream that I was in a beautiful country with a big floppy hat on. I'm coming down the deck. It didn't